HooHooHooRobin.
Yeah, that was much better than having
I was sitting there for 2 hours waiting to get on and walk on in the parade, and then last minute I'm walking out, and the guy's grabbing me. You can't walk on the parade. You can't walk like that. And,
why?
Well, I don't know, because I got a mohawk and it was green. I don't know which. That's one of the two. I don't know what.
Green
it wasn't
mohawk.
Catholic enough or something. I don't know.
So stupid.
That's what they told me.
Yeah, apparently there's a no hair dye rule.
Ridiculous.
I never knew that. Yeah,
I had no idea. No one told me.
If I was asked, I would have said, yeah, there's plenty of people with their hair dyed marching in there, but I guess not.
More government intruding into the man's life.
What happened with the whole gay thing with the parade?
What was
like
the
that
gay
used
thing?
to be it used to be a big issue that the gays always wanted to march in the St. Patty's Day parade.
Really?
And every year it was a giant issue. Like, no, we're not letting it. If you're gay and you want to be in the parade, you got to be in as, you know, part of this thing and just be a gay guy marching with this group. But they wanted like the gay group to march, and it was always a big thing. But now that just kind of went away. I think the gays just gave up. Just gave up on it.
They realize how ridiculous it is.
Yeah. You go in as a gay contingency.
Yeah, the whole point is St. Patrick's Day. It's not whether or not you fuck guys.
Yeah, it didn't make any sense, so I guess they gave up. Fuck them.
It's also St. Patrick. The church just doesn't want you.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
it's pretty
it
clear
really
they
is.
don't want you guys.
Yeah, regardless of, you know, you could say what God's intent is with the gay guys, the church doesn't like you. Yeah. You could really just say that. I don't know what God's opinion on gay guys are, but the church hates you. It pretty much does. Not very open-minded when it comes to that.
It's funny how many fucking gay people there are in the church, though. That's what's really weird. You would figure that they would make it kind of easier on gays.
In my opinion, if you want to take a vow of celibacy, there's got to be at least some confusion as to your sexuality.
Yeah.
If you're saying, I think I could go my entire life with no pussy, what's going on? I think you're denying what you want, and you know, you're in that middle ground of I don't want pussy, but I better not jump on the cock. Let me go become clergy.
Controversial priest. Who's that controversial priest who's really, really popular in Miami? Really, some charismatic young priest. They caught him with a woman, and he's in a lot of trouble because of that.
Wow.
So he left the Catholic Church. Yeah, they frown upon that.
Wow, yeah.
They should keep that guy.
And he gave a speech about it. He was like, "Look, they're all gay." He's like, "The priests are all gay." Like, it's a huge contingency of gay people. Gay people and kid fuckers. That's what it is. I mean, that's really what it is. It's ridiculous that it's even controversial to say that.
I know, yeah, because you say that and you think, oh, am I going to get? But come on, look through history.
Could you imagine if NASCAR drivers fucked as many kids as priests did?
They would shut down NASCAR.
They sure wouldn't be riding anymore, right?
They wouldn't just move them to another state. You're gonna have to race in West Virginia now.
Fucking, the cars, all you'd see is a paint job on them. There wouldn't be one sponsor sticker on anything.
It's amazing, though, isn't it?
Yeah, that is.
Just a bunch of pink cars going around in circles.
They can just keep doing it. Wow, look at that. They got a Geiger counter on some kid's head in Japan. They had some kid at the airport, and there's a guy with a big glove on.
With that shower head thing they've been fucking just scanning people with?
They scanned his little head.
His little head.
To see if he's radioactive.
Well, they're saying they can't really tell if you've ingested anything radioactive by putting that fucking detector by your head and by your body. They can tell if you've been in a radioactive surroundings, but they can't tell how much you've ingested, how long you've been in the area. I was talking before, it's Shep Smith, Shep Smith on Fox News. He's going to glow in the dark. The guy has been there since it happened. He's constantly right near the reactor.
Wow. Even Anderson Cooper isn't going to Japan.
No.
No, he was there.
Was he?
Well, but
he goes everywhere dangerous.
He was there. No, they had a video.
I think he came back, though.
They had a video of him going, "Should I leave?
Yeah. Should I get out of here?
Should I get out of here?" Because new info was coming in, and he just broke character. Like, should I be here?
What happened to that chick in Egypt that got beat up and sexually assaulted? Did they release the story of what exactly happened?
You won't see her no more.
Yeah,
I don't know. She just went away.
She got pinched really hard was one of the descriptions.
Pinched in her vagina?
I guess.
I think her nipples. I think they were doing things to her nipples
really hard.
They were biting her tits and
really?
fucking.
Oh yeah.
They said it went on for like a half an hour, too.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
That means a few guys.
Isn't there a sick party that hears shit like that and goes like, wow. like every.
You had the folks listening at home. You had to see Anthony's face. There was a bit of nostalgia in his eyes.
You might want to explain a little bit there, a little further.
I would never make light of the horror that this woman went through, and that other women go through when they're being sexually assaulted. But when you just read the story and take the humanity out of the mix, I don't know who this person is. I just know it's female A and male B through Z. Doing things. It's just this twisted kind of perverse, sick, and there's something titillating about it.
You want to bring it down to caveman shit.
Yeah, caveman
there's
style.
No fucking laws or anything.
Doesn't matter.
It's not caveman shit because it's a suppression shit. You're not supposed to be doing this shit. It's not like a nature shit.
No, it is. You're not supposed to be doing it. It's very bad. It's an evil
nature's
thing.
A one-on-one. But did we just fuck you, shoot a load in you, and make a baby? That's natural.
But did we decide it's nature? You know what I mean? Or is it nature shit where you're supposed to just fucking be an animal like that?
Well, there's a lot of that.
Did we decide that it's not okay?
The real reality of human bodies is that we have the same genetics that they had back when they were running from saber-toothed tigers and fucking stabbing woolly mammoths with sticks.
But we like to think because we've got more knowledge
because we have smartphones that we're different.
We're fighting it.
We're
still
basically
have fighting those monkey
that urge.
instincts.
We call it the perv switch.
Yeah, it's in
some
there.
guys lose the fucking battle with the perv switch.
Well, nature and the perv switch are two totally different things. A lot of the perv switch comes from suppression. A lot of it comes from this sort of rebounding. It's like Catholic school girls. When I was in high school, those freaks, they fucked like crazy. The craziest chick I ever dated was when I was in high school. It was a Catholic school girl. This chick fucked everybody who asked. Anybody who tried to fuck her got to fuck her. If you dragged a dick on the ground across her, it would be like a kitten with a ball of yarn. She would just dive on it. She was a fucking whore. By the time we were like 20, she'd already had 3 abortions.
Wow.
Oh, this bitch fucked everybody.
Catholic girl, huh?
And she couldn't help it. She couldn't help herself. She had a look in her eyes like she was hypnotized.
It was the suppression of...
She fucked her. I was dating her, and she fucked one of my friends. I came home. It was like 4 o'clock in the morning. They were parked in front of my house, and my buddy was fingering her in the car. And I slammed my hand on the hood of the car. I go, what the fuck? And then I got in my car, and I drove up. Fingering her in the front seat. This bitch was crazy. And it was all Catholic school. Just fucking wonked her head. Her whole family was everything. Every time if somebody sneezed, there's fucking everybody made the crucifix sign.
Yeah.
A car honked its horn. Oh Jesus! Everybody was.
I knew a family like that, and it was a lot of girls, sisters, and all raised like strict Catholic family. Where when we wanted to go to the movies, we couldn't just pull up to the house. We had to come in the house. We couldn't pick the girl up just by beeping the horn and stuff. Had to come into the house. It's the mother and father there. Yeah. And then they asked what movie were we seeing, and they would look in the Catholic Digest to see if the movie was rated by the Catholic Digest, and some of them were rated condemned. Like the movie's fucking condemned.
Like the
we couldn't see it. Yeah, something like that would be just condemned. So we'd have to say we were going to see a movie that was rated within, the parameters that they wanted. Yeah. And the fucked up thing is we never went to the movies. We go park behind like Leahy Junior High and just fuck in the car and get blowjob and then come home and like we'd have to get a synopsis of the movie and it was great and time it out right and get home. But like you said, just the most horrible. They would send us up, and the parents were oblivious. They thought, because they were raising them like this, that they were perfect. Me and a bunch of my friends would go out with these sisters, because they were all sisters, take a station wagon upstate New York to a cabin that the parents owned, and the parents wanted an equal number of guys to girls. They said, no, you can't go unless there's another guy, which was the oddest thing. It's like, why would you...
That doesn't make sense.
You're just gearing up for a good fuck fest with your daughter. And it was. We would go up there and they would be like,
it was.
It's a great place. Yeah. It was just, you're out in the middle of nowhere. No one's going to fuck things up. That was like when in your youth, you'd stay up all fucking night. If you were in bed with a chick and like, you knew nothing was interrupting it, you'd stay up all night because you were just like, I don't want this to fucking... This is great. It's like 5 in the morning, the sun's coming up, and you're like, motherfucker, why can't it be fucking midnight again? Yeah. It was just the greatest thing. Then you'd have to get up and go back to fucking not getting laid for a month. It was tough growing up. Fucking tough shit,
I had a 6-month dry spell when I was 19.
Oh.
It's very scary. Very scary.
You just kind of come to the thing of like, am I ever going to get laid again?
It's never going to happen again.
It's terrible.
And when I finally got it in again, I lasted a half a second, maybe. And then I was like, is this the rest of my life? You know, because I was out of school.
Yeah. I'm going to be premature ejaculation guy. Great.
Is this what I have to look? Is life over? Is it really like a John Cougar Mellencamp song?
There was a girl that didn't want to fuck once. I was spending the weekend with her, and we were in our late teens, and the first night, she was like, yeah, we could sleep together and stuff and get all naked and stuff, but I wanted to fuck her. She was like, no, I don't know and stuff. So I just had fucking mega rod all night. All night. It's fucking dripping crazy glue all fucking night long. Just a wreck.
Turgid.
A turgid pulsating teen penis that I had. It was great. When that ligament is all tight up top, you know, back in the good old days.
Like anime?
It was fantastic.
Was it like anime cock?
You couldn't even push it down like a quarter of an inch.
Jesus.
The thing was just wow. And so the next day I wake up blue balls like a motherfucker. I couldn't even walk. And then the next night we're in bed again, naked, and then she's finally, you know, had enough drinking, I guess, where she's like, okay, let's do this. I'm like, oh. Dude, it was saved up now for a whole fucking night of having a rod and not being able to come. And then that, I swear, the head touched the fucking lips, and I'm just gone all over. I fire hosed her.
The good news is you're good to go in another 20 minutes.
Exactly. Not even. I don't even think I lost my rod. It was just like, fuck you. You're fucking.
Back in there.
Didn't worry about anything either. No rubber, no nothing.
There's a couple times in my life I've gone 2 loads with 1 rod. It's a very rare occurrence.
Yeah, it's going on here. That's got to be like a brand new girl.
Very excited.
You got to be really excited about what you're doing.
That's not some 20th anniversary shit.
Yeah. That doesn't come with one of those anniversary cards where it's like, I'm sorry I don't tell you I love you as much as I should. I love the apology cards. Those are great. I don't say it as much as I should, but no, I love you. Here, I'm giving you 2 fucking orgasms with 1 rod. Ain't happening.
Liddell's enjoying himself today. Chuck, you have anything to add or what?
Chuck's hanging. He's just happy he doesn't have to wear that goofy hat from yesterday, man.
Can we get back to that video, Ari's video? Do we have
my God, what was that?
Ari's butthole?
It's called
Chuck
Ari's.
Doesn't need to see that.
Should cover deformed asshole.
Yeah.
Chuck's a sensitive guy. He doesn't need to see this.
No, I wouldn't.
Can we get one of the guys
to
pop that up for us? Is it right there?
No, it's not here. I'll look for it.
All right. Well, I mean, you know.
So everybody knows about the UFC Strike Force buyout, right?
What do you think about that, Joe?
It's pretty amazing. It's good.
Exciting,
I like it.
right?
What I like is that these guys are going to get to fight. You know,
right?
It's like it's going to take a while. They're going to have to figure out. You know, the contracts have to run out on these fighters, and you know, and Showtime and all that, and work all that stuff out. But now all the best fighters are all under one organization.
Yeah.
And,
yeah, you get some of those dream bouts you wanted to say.
Well, the fans always win when that happens.
Yeah. Who are you looking forward to seeing fight that wasn't able to?
Alistair Overeem. I'm looking forward to seeing him fight as a heavyweight. Chuck knocked him out, though, back in the day.
Thumbs up.
Back in the day.
That was a great fight. That was a great fight in Pride. That was a fun one, you know? Alistair's a bad motherfucker. He's ever since he got to heavyweight too, he's been doing much better. He's huge now. He's like 260, 255. He's enormous. But he does very well. He won the Grand Prix, the K1 Grand Prix. So as a striker, he's like one of the top strikers, like as far as like, being successful as a striker and as a mixed martial arts guy. He's the heavyweight champ of Strykeforce, and he won the Grand Prix for K1. So that's a big deal.
Shit.
He's the one I'm most excited about seeing. Gilbert Melendez, another one. Nick Diaz.
Fedor? Where we at with that?
You know, I think Fedor should be fighting at 205. I mean, Fedor's smaller than Chuck. I mean, Chuck, you know, obviously long-time 205 champion. I mean, you walk around like, what, 225, something like that?
About 230.
Yeah, that's what Fedor fights at. But fat. You know, and Chuck's not fat walking around at 225, 230. I mean, frame-wise, the guy could be a middleweight, right?
Yeah. He's yeah.
Wow. You see some of the guys like Rich Franklin, the guy who cuts a lot of weight to get down to 185.
Yeah.
Physically, he's probably bigger than Fedor, But Fedor's he's a bad motherfucker, no doubt. But he's too small for the biggest guys in the division. That Bigfoot Silva fight proved that to me. I mean, that fucking giant motherfucker got on top of him and was hammer-fisting him into oblivion. And I was like, like this is a mismatch weight-wise. There's no way. This guy, we got one guy who's cutting down from 285, 290 to get to 265 weight class, and you got another guy who's fat at 230. It just doesn't line up. He's just too. After a while, I mean, in the old days, you could pull that off. But when it gets to a certain point, the competition gets fierce, you have to be as big as you can for your division. You have to be, as in shape as possible. You can't be walking around with a big belly and, it looks great, it's kind of fun. But this guy with a big gut was knocking everybody out,
Right.
Well,
when he fought Brett Rogers.
Why don't they add a middle weight class?
They should. I agree. I think maybe they will eventually. I think somewhere around, like 225, 230. Think that's a good idea?
Yeah, I'm not sure. So they could do that. They do that in
there's some guys that are, there's you see like stand next to a guy like Brock, and you see Brock next to Fedor. That's a different weight class.
Sure.
There's just a different weight class. No question. But then a guy like Cain Velasquez is only about 240, and and he beat the shit out of Brock.
Yeah.
So nice guy, by the way.
That guy.
We liked Cain.
He's a motherfucker. He's a motherfucker.
Really nice in person.
That guy, they were talking about that guy for years before he broke out onto the scene.
He's got like creepy conditioning for heavyweight.
Yeah, it doesn't even make sense.
It doesn't get tired.
He outworks like middleweights, lightweights. I mean, he's like the most conditioned guy in the gym apparently.
So he can a lot of stamina. He could.
Yeah, it's funny. His trainer, they said this after the Ben Rothwell fight. He fought Ben Rothwell, and Rothwell was upset that they stopped the fight. He was just getting the fuck beat out of him. I mean, Cain Velasquez is just all over him. And then Javier Mendez says, well, they were probably thinking that the storm was going to end eventually, but the storm never ends with Cain.
Jeez.
Just the fucking thought of the storm never ends.
You never want to hear that.
Never stops fucking punching you and kicking you until you're
beating the fuck out of your head.
It doesn't get tired. I've never seen a heavyweight that has that kind of conditioning.
Wow.
What about UFC 128? What do you like? We talked to Jones on the phone. He was a cool guy.
He's it's very interesting. He's got more hype behind him, I think, than anybody I've ever seen in the history of the division. Like young contenders coming up, with a limited amount of fights. I mean, when Chuck was a contender before, Chuck was the uncrowned champion before. I mean, everybody always, although people behind the scenes knew that he was going to beat Tito when he fought him. It was always known that eventually one day they're going to have to get him together. So it was like Chuck had so much experience before he got there, but Jon Jones has only been doing MMA for 3 years. Wow. That's the ridiculous thing. I mean, he's just gone from the first fight with Andre Guzman all the way through to the last fight with Ryan Bader and never been in a tiny bit of trouble.
Well, they learned on the shoulder, you guys, who had to pretty much learn on your own what the best thing to do, best training, best mixture of martial arts.
It was creative back in the day.
So and it was trial and error kind of a thing, You realize you can't just go in there knowing one thing because this guy's going to come in and fucking put you on the mat and kill you. But now I guess these guys are getting better in a shorter period of time, which will give them, I guess, longer careers.
Well, they see right away when you enter into the sport right now, you see full, complete mixed martial artists, and those are the guys that people are imitating. And kids from now, like there's this commercial with these kids that train at the Tap Out gym. These kids are like 7, 8 years old.
Yeah.
You ever seen that commercial?
I've seen that shit.
These motherfuckers.
That's awesome, man.
Hitting flying arm bars and high kicking each other, and they're little kids. You know? They're learning MMA from the beginning.
That's 7, 8 years old. Can you imagine? Jesus.
I was there for Chuck's debut. What Chuck was different, the difference between Chuck and all the other guys before him is that all the other wrestlers were trying to take the fight to the ground, and they would get on top of you and pound on you. But what Chuck did was make guys stand up. That was like the first time that anybody ever done that.
I always said, when I came in, when you came in, there's 3 different elements you had to learn. And most people came in with one and learned the other 2. I came in with 2 and had to learn one. I had to learn jiu-jitsu. So, I mean, I had that advantage in the beginning, and I was able to keep guys they were wrestlers striking with me. They weren't comfortable, and plus it puts them somewhere where they're uncomfortable because they're not used to striking. They're not used to being and it frustrates them and they can't take me down.
I was there for Chuck's debut, and the funny thing was they found out that Chuck was a wrestler right before he go out. Tell him, John Peretti.
Yeah, John Peretti comes up to me. I found out I was a wrestler before I go out. He's like, if you want to come back, you need to keep this on your feet. So I'm fighting a boxer. I'm like, okay, I'll try.
Yeah, they used to make guys do things. They used to make guys stand like this. This was famous for the Elite XC, that company that went under that was banking on Kimbo Slice and all that.
Oh, right, yeah.
They used to have a ground clock where if you were on the ground for like 30 seconds, a little alarm would go off and they would stand you back up.
They made you stand up?
Yeah, it was famous. Gary Shaw would tell people backstage, they reported on it. They would tell them, keep this fight standing, we want to see a good knockout.
I remember a lot of times I saw when Chuck would fight, which always perplexed me. You'd get a guy, he'd be on his back, and you'd be smashing him in the face, and I'd be like, this guy's done. And then you'd back off. And let the guy get up, and I'm like, why are you letting him get? You fucking have him.
I'll be on top
you want to play with him
and I'm trying to put him away, and I have him hurt. Mm-hmm. I figure out he's not quitting right now, and I just step back because I figure I can hurt him better standing up.
Jesus.
All right.
It's a calculated maneuver.
I guess so, because I was always like, oh, he's pounding him. This guy's just got him.
You're probably fighting enough, so they're not going to stop it. All right, get back up, because I've got him hurt. I don't want to let him rest down there.
You're probably thinking about the Jeremy Horn fight.
Yes, he was laying down there, and you were pounding his face. Yeah, because I guess now he's got to stand up, and now he can't just lay back and worry about. Now he's got to worry about his legs and everything.
Yeah, sometimes when guys get a guy hurt and then they get on top of him, the guy can grab a hold of you and wrap a hold of you even from the bottom and save himself.
Yeah.
And just kind of clear his cobwebs out as first if he's actually standing up with you.
So Chuck was just like, all right, get up, motherfucker. Oh, shit, I'm going to punch you standing up.
Yeah, I got someone hurt. I figure I can hit him harder standing, so get him up. I'm accurate, so.
Well, it works.
So you're obviously taking Shogun over Jones, huh?
No, I'm not. No, I don't know.
I misread what you were saying.
No, I just said there's an amazing amount of hype behind this kid. I mean, the reason the hype is behind him is because he's incredibly talented.
Right.
I mean, I always describe him as like an insect, and not in a bad way, but like, you ever see an ant move like something big? They do it like effortlessly. That's what it's like with this kid. He tosses people around, and he does it like effortlessly. It's like it's weird how strong he is. Like he does this he does this thing where he gets guys in double overhooks, and he flips them through the air with their feet or over his head. It's a lateral drop, but the way he executes it, it's like hardly anybody does that in MMA, and not the way this kid does it. And he does it on high-level guys and sends them flying through the air.
And it doesn't even look like he's straining doing it.
He takes everyone down. I mean, no one had been able to control Ryan Bader, the last guy that he fought like that. Right. He just takes him down, gets on top of him, squashes him, chokes him.
Who do you want, Chuck?
I'd like to see both the guys. I think it's gonna be a good fight. I don't necessarily want one guy or the other. It'd be interesting to see. I mean, it's a test for Jones, but he's a tough kid. I've only seen a couple of his fights, but he's a tough kid, man.
He's physically so talented, but Shogun's an assassin. Shogun is a real professional. Like, Jones got in his face at the weigh-in. It was or at the press conference, kind of interesting. And he got like right in Shogun's face, and Shogun just turned away.
Like, really? I'm not going to play this.
You don't want to deal with it.
I'm not going to look at you. I'm not doing this.
Shogun's been around a long time.
Yeah.
You just made that fight even more interesting.
Shogun's an assassin.
What other fight you like Saturday? Tomorrow, I guess, already. Wow.
What else is on the card?
Uriah Faber
and Eddie Wineland. That's a great fight. Eddie Wineland was at one point in time the 135-pound champion, and he's trying to get back to it. And Uriah dropped down to 135. Uriah's a fucking beast at 135.
Yeah.
That's a great fight. What else is on the card?
I don't know. I got to look it up.
The fuck, Ari?
I don't know. I had one. I don't know. I got to look it up.
What else is on the card, Reed?
Belarus.
What's that?
Kamal Belarus Miller.
Oh, yeah. Jim Miller and Kamal Belarus. Jim Miller from New Jersey. He's a fucking animal.
Jersey guy, huh?
That kid's a savage. I love that kid. Him and his brother, Dan Miller, and Dan Miller fights Nate Marquardt. There's a lot of good fights. It's a good card.
Yeah.
Where's Dana? Why didn't...
He was probably busy with the merger, because they just bought Strykeforce like a couple of days ago. So it's just, I think it came out on Tuesday. Is that what it was?
Yeah, something like that. I don't know. I heard.
Were there any differences though with Strykeforce, like that they might have? Yeah, that they might have trouble incorporating into.
Only elbows. They didn't allow elbows.
They didn't allow elbows. Okay.
How do you feel about that? Some guys don't like elbows because they think that it stops fights because it cuts. What do you think about that?
Well, I mean, I don't like taking anything out anymore. But I mean, I thought when they took knees to the head on the ground out, I think if you're going to take one out over, I think they should have left that in and took elbows.
Take elbows out. The knee to the head.
A knee to the head.
That one, I remember seeing those and just going,
well,
you know, but it was great to watch.
It was to keep people from shooting. They landed a few of those the first shot. The second, I don't want to shoot again.
Did I hear that right? Chuck is bummed that they took the knee to the head out.
Yeah, well, you don't know. Chuck fought old
I know he's an
Valley
animal. Trust me, I know.
No gloves. He fought Pele in Brazil in one of those old school Valley Tudo tournaments where they fought in a ring, and the bottom rung of the ropes was a net so that you couldn't slide out under. So Pele is stuffed into the corner in the net, and Chuck is just smashing him
through the net.
It's one of the most brutal fights ever.
I got to see that. Is it online still?
Oh, yeah.
All right, good. I got to check that out.
Chuck Liddell versus Pele.
One 30-minute round.
Yeah.
Really?
Wow.
30-minute round.
Wow.
Bare knuckle.
That's just like, that's
soccer kicks, everything.
That's Fight Club shit.
Oh, yeah,
it is.
And it's in Brazil.
Yeah.
You know,
no one's stopping that.
His manager was the referee, by the way. I walked out.
Oh no! Come on! What is that? Fucking WWE? What the fuck is
weird WWE shit? Yeah, you're right.
You want to hear some spooky shit about Brazil? Brazil has a very high rate of infestation of a toxin or a parasite called toxoplasma. And it's a cat parasite. And listen to this shit. There's a parasite that affects rats, and it makes rats sexually attracted to the smell of cat piss. Where they lose their mind, their balls swell up, and they can't wait to get around cat piss. They get around the cat piss, and obviously there's a cat there. The cat eats the rat, so the cat gets it. And then the cat gives it to people. When people touch cat shit, or when the cat shit in the grass, and then, you know, somehow or another people get in contact with it. Well, when it affects human beings, it makes men more aggressive, it makes them jerks, and it makes them more sexually active, and it makes women more promiscuous, and it makes them more sexual. And it literally has infested 66% of the population of Brazil. I mean, if you look at Brazil, you look at their culture, that is Brazil. Yeah. The men are fucking animals. They're crazy. And the women, they all have big asses, and they're all sexual and promiscuous.
Half naked, walking around.
The fucking culture of Brazil is shaped by a parasite.
Based on fucking rats and cat shit.
It's crazy. Not only that, but they're also making a direct correlation between successful soccer teams and higher rates of infestation of toxoplasma, because it makes the men more reckless, and
they test for this?
More aggressive?
Yes,
they can. So they know for sure that people have this.
A lot of people have it. 66% of the population in Brazil. 50 million Americans are infested by it. Especially places, rural areas where there are a lot of wild cats.
Yeah. Hey, oh man, I never heard that.
Pretty fucking nuts, man. But when you look at Brazil, you go, why is this one country so wild and crazy?
Yeah.
It's a fucking worm in your brain.
There's the explanation.
Literally. One more. It's nuts, man.
That is fucking nuts.
It's fucking really nuts to wrap your head around that, but it makes sense if you've been to Brazil and you see like how those people. It's a wild ass place.
Is it as wild as they say? I've never been.
I've been to Sao Paulo. I got slapped by a transvestite in a car. I was trying to take a picture of him, her, whatever.
Yeah.
She reaches in, smacks me in the fucking face, and starts screaming, and starts shaking the door. I'm in a car with like 10 trained killers. We're all leaving the Abu Dhabi the tournament. It was Mark Lehman's in the car, Big Country's in the car, and I get bitch slapped. Big Country had a great picture of her.
Bitch slapped by a fucking tranny.
I mean, she just had to make like a face, like this crazy made up face, and she was a tranny. Like, they're fucking nuts sexually.
I'm sure the guys let you alone after that, right? They didn't bother you about what happened.
Oh, we were all laughing for days. It was hilarious.
They fucking didn't let that one go.
I mean, she was begging for money or to suck cock or whatever. I don't know Portuguese.
Something.
I don't know Portuguese. She wanted some form of attention.
Something to do with the cock.
Yeah.
Hey, one more UFC question I wanted to ask Dana, but we don't have him today. New York, what the fuck?
New York's a mess, man.
It should have been done already.
Yeah, well, it's political. You know, I don't know what it is, but everybody knows.
Is it the boxing thing? Is it way too strong?
I don't know. It's a good question. I don't know the root of it all. I don't know.
Well, the people that are making that decision, of course, trying to get UFC in New York, would they go to Jersey to check out how it's run and how it's handled?
I don't know. You know, you would think
a good
so
take on
if it made sense.
They would have done plenty of that by now. I mean, it's been there enough times.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, we've been coming to Jersey.
Could you imagine
10 years
you guys
now.
going to fucking Madison Square Garden?
Yeah,
One of these
huge.
How great would that be?
That would be great.
And it should be. You know, it should be. It's all guaranteed. It's all corrupt politicians.
But last time we had Dana and it's been a while now. He was convinced it was right around the corner.
Yeah.
But it's not.
Didn't pass last time. You know, I don't know. I don't know how all this stuff works.
What's left? New York and what else?
There's a few other states.
As far as the
They're
biggies.
talking about there's 3 big ones. Was it Connecticut and?
We did Connecticut in the casinos, but that's an Indian casino.
Oh, right. Okay.
It's different.
Yeah.
Right.
Don't have to pay attention to white man
law. They listed
law.
them off yesterday. I don't know.
But New York, it's ridiculous.
You got Boston,
the fact that you have boxing.
Right? You got Boston.
Yeah, boxing here. It's like
the fact that there's boxing is legal, but MMA is illegal. That's just ignorant.
We say that every time when you get into the UFC a little bit. It's tough to watch boxing. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It really is.
It is. Although, you know, I do still enjoy a good boxing match because, you know, it's like I like a good jiu-jitsu match. You know, I like watching a good wrestling match, you know, but there's the big picture of MMA where it's all together is more exciting than anything.
Yeah.
That's the big ball of wax.
Hard to argue that.
But, you know, like I watched the Miguel Cotto, Ricardo Mayorga fight last weekend. It was a good fight. It was interesting. It was good boxing match.
But like Opie says, I find it hard to even tune into boxing anymore. It's because you know what? You really don't know what you're going to get.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can get the most boring fucking fight.
It's a lot of boring.
What do you think happened to boxing?
Stop clinching, you motherfuckers.
Too many
hit
belts?
each other.
That's
When
definitely
we were
part
growing
of
up,
it.
we're all more or less the same age. When we were growing up, boxing was like, fuck.
It was also because there was no MMA back then.
True.
If it was MMA back then, it would have taken over just like it took over now.
You think Muhammad Ali would have tried some MMA?
He did. He fought Antonio Inoki.
Oh, no, that's when he was just on his back the whole thing.
Well, he
the
kicked
wrestler
the shit
was.
out of his legs.
The wrestler was. That's
It's
right.
a smart move. What do you want to do? Stand up with
You call
Muhammad Ali?
that?
No.
But you call that he was trying MMA?
I don't know. I mean,
that
it was
kind
something
of
different.
That was kind of
you know?
a spectacle.
Yeah, it was kind of a spectacle.
The wrestler just stayed on his back and kicked the shit out of Ali.
I think if, you know, there was a situation like this now, if it was in the 70s where there was like some guy like Cain Velasquez that was getting real popular and he was a heavyweight champion, and then there was Muhammad Ali who was a heavyweight champion of boxing.
Yeah.
Ali probably would have had to do it. He probably would have been full. I mean, he's had such an incredible ego.
Yeah, to be the greatest, he would have had to.
Just learn how to sprawl, you know?
Yeah.
Go down the pit, do a little training with Hackelman, work on some techniques.
We're going to take a quick break, and Ari's asshole awaits. It's right there on the screen.
Oh, great.
He's in mid-wipe, so...
You don't want to see it. Jew Clam, uncensored, online. Google it.
You don't want to see it, really?
Yeah, you do.
You want to see it, Chuck, after the break?
You can't unwatch it.
It's not
Remember, you
Chuck has
cannot
done worse to
unwatch
people.
it.
You're talking about a guy who fought bare knuckle in Brazil. He'll
He'll
check it out. He'll look at some assholes. Go ahead, throw it up on the screen.
All right, more with Joe Rogan. Are you promoting anything, Joe?
No.
Joe Rogan
Here
on
to hang
Twitter,
out.
but you have
I'm just happy to be here, man. Just
plenty
happy
of
to be here.
followers. And Chuck, you promoting anything?
Not really. No.
Just hanging. I liked it. I like when guys just come by to hang. Penn might come by and hang today.
Yeah, we'll see.
You like Penn?
Yeah, very much.
Penn rules,
He's
man.
a good dude. I like that guy.
All right.
He was on Fear Factor.
Was he?
Yeah, him and Teller.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Were you ever on mushrooms on
Fear Factor? No, just the weed.
And I
never did it on the mushrooms.
You ever done stand up on mushrooms?
No. Yeah, but not real high.
You were coming down from it.
I mean, I can't really say. I mean,
Yeah.
I was able to talk, so it couldn't have been that strong.
And did I see you on Dave Chappelle doing a street bit for him?
Yeah, that was a long time ago. That was.
I saw that the other day.
Yeah.
An old rerun of Chappelle, and you're like handing out like gift certificates or money or something.
I was walking down the street. I was walking down the street. I was playing at Caroline's, just randomly walking down the street, and
And he
Dave
grabbed
Chappelle
you.
is there with a mustache on.
Yeah, okay,
And I go, what
yeah,
are you doing? Hey, Joe, I'm handing out things for New York boobs. You want to be on my show? And I was like, yeah, sure, man. What do I have to do?
Was it buttons or something?
Yeah,
if they had nice
you got
boobs?
great New York boobs.
Right. And all of a sudden, Joe Rogan is handing the button to Chappelle's character or something. Like, what are you doing?
He's such an eccentric guy, man. I really wish he would start like really touring. He basically sort of shows up at places and does sets.
He brings a band with him now.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah, brings a band with him, some weird bluesy jazz
To
band.
walk away from what he had going is
not just walk away from
amazing.
that. He's one of the greatest comics of our generation. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, there's a few guys that you look at and you go, well, these guys are like at the top of the heap.
Yep.
You know, and he was one of them.
Absolutely.
And he just walked away.
And he had a
from
really good gig. It wasn't like a 2.5 Men situation where maybe creatively you're a little embarrassed, but he was doing some good shit.
Oh my God!
When I did his show, when I did the Fear Factor thing, he was telling me that they were giving him a hard time. That they would tell him like how many times he could say nigger, and they wanted him to stop saying nigger, and they start fucking around because they think they can look.
What idiots?
If you got a hit show and you got a bunch of people that are saying, look, we want to advertise, but we want to ensure that our product is not being misrepresented.
Yeah.
You think you could tone down the blackie? You think you could figure out a way to get him?
Make it just as funny. Keep doing that.
Yeah.
But do it by this rules.
Make it funny. Keep it funny, but we could fit within these parameters so we could advertise. We'll all make money, and it'll shut up.
Suits, bro.
Oh, they're the worst.
And when you're trying to figure out what's funny and what's not funny, you can only leave that to comedians. You can't Suits. You can't look at it and go, if I water it down, it'll still be funny, but then it'll be more lucrative, and let's figure out a comfortable medium, because it won't be funny, and it'll piss off the comic. Right. And Chappelle just wound up getting tired of it all.
That's amazing, and the dignity to walk away from that and say fuck you.
He clearly doesn't give a fuck, because he could be touring and selling out stadiums, and instead he just shows up at comedy clubs unannounced.
Fuck it,
and does 5-hour sets.
Yeah, and he's happy with it.
Really, all the time.
We need a Chuck Liddell for these meetings with the Suits.
Oh yeah.
You'll see it our way.
That's oh God.
Chuck's too friendly.
Yeah.
Chuck's intimidating as fuck, but then when you get around him, you're like, God, he's so normal and nice.
So nice.
Yeah,
nice guy,
you need some fucking brooding Mike Tyson character that might bite somebody's ear off at any moment.
We have a short list of guys that scared the shit out of us the first time we saw him, and certainly Chuck. It took a while for us to relax around him. Because the first time you came in, you were breathing like a bull and had that look, and we're like, fuck.
Well, you find yourself more easygoing now that you're retired?
I guess, probably. I mean, it just depends. I mean, I think other times I come in, I had a fight coming up, so I was kind of in fight mode, training.
You don't have to be in that.
A little. It's always a little more. I never noticed it, but all my friends always did.
Oh, fuck yeah, man.
A little more on edge, a little more like, what? What'd you do?
That's it. That's exactly what scared the shit out of us.
What the fuck was that?
Yeah. We got a couple of those looks. Nothing.
We were in Vegas once, and I don't know the particulars about it, but there was 2 tables going on. There was our table that was over here, and then there was a table that was next to it. And at our table, Chuck was there with a couple of his friends, and there was some dude. It was like some drug dealer type character or something. I don't know who he was. And then it was some large black gentleman, and the large black gentleman got quite mouthy. And he got yelly, and he was screaming in someone's face, and Chuck stepped up around behind his buddy and stood right in front of the black guy and started talking to him, and the dude literally turned 2 shades lighter color. Like, you could see the look in his face. He was like, what the fuck have I gotten myself into? Chuck Liddell is literally inches from my and I don't know what Chuck was saying because it was loud. That's all you could do. But you could see Chuck looking at the guy going like this, talking to him, and the guy was shaking his head, talking at the same time. Oh man, wow. It was terrifying.
Do you remember what you said, Chuck, or no?
Yeah. I mean, I just was.
Do you remember the situation?
Yeah, I remember. He had a problem with some small guy. I mean, I don't know what happened exactly, but it was like basically I was just letting him know that you're not going to do anything. Just sit down, go back to what you're doing. We can be cool.
The dude's mouth opened.
You're not doing anything.
Yeah.
You can tell he was
not going any further.
You know what I like about this? This is the nice version we're hearing.
He was having a hard time getting oxygen to his brain because his mouth opened in the shock because he was all angry and aggro, and he was doing this thing that a lot of dudes do where they get their knuckles above their head and then they come down with their fingers and start pointing. He was doing this, and then when Chuck showed up, the hand dropped and his mouth opened. Well, you could tell he was like having a hard time getting in air. He's like, "Oh Jesus, I gotta stay calm."
That's like the worst situation you could be in. It's like this isn't just any schlep coming over that you're like, yeah, I might be able to take this guy. He's getting in my face. It's like, no, it's Chuck Liddell.
Yeah, and it's not confusing. There's fucking tattoo on his head, the mohawk.
Yeah, you know what you're getting.
And he's staring at you with that 100,000-yard stare.
Oh, yeah.
That is brutal, man.
It was funny. We're gonna take a quick break. I just want to see if Penn's here. So
yeah, cool.
Quick break, and he is here. Oh fuck! This show is
Shazam.
Right, just continues. All right. Penn, and is Teller here too? Just Penn.
Just Penn.
All right, we'll wrap up next with Joe Rogan, Chuck Liddell, Ari, and Penn. Stay there.